Hello fellow crafters, this is Jane Fires and I am here to show you how I did this card. All of the products that I'm using today are found on my website. You can go to www.janies/angelhugs.com and on the right side is my banner. It will take you to the Spellbinders FSJ site that I get credit for. Everything today came from the Fun Stampers Journey site. This is the little card, Merry Christmas, that we're going to do. So let's begin. I'm going to show you some of the things that I used, but then I'll show you more as we go. This particular stamp set is called Sparkle Tree, and it's sparkly because you can see it's got little lights that you can light up. And on this card we use the littlest tree, and you'll see that in a few minutes. Then the other one that we used on this card is the little snowflake. The little snowman. And it's from the Snowman Days stamp set. And we also used the Merry Christmas. From this one, we used snowflakes. All right? And this one here is the Winter Holiday. It's been in the catalog for a long time. This one is also a one that was in the catalog, Ski Sled Skate it's called, and again I used the snowflakes. I wanted a variety of snowflakes. So the cardstock that I used was our white, and what I did with our white, it's not only for our base, but it's also going to be for the one that I'm going to overlay. So I took the one that I'm going to overlay and I took my electric tape. It's the green tape. It's called electric. And what I did is I masked off the very top of my layer that will be on top, my front of my card, the very top layer for my card. And then I held it down. Now, I would do another piece down lower, but the bottom of this is going to be covered up with a piece of our paper that's the winter snowflake one. So instead of doing that down here, I decided I was just going to leave it. So what I'm going to do is stamp in here my snowflakes. Now I used a variety of colors. I'm going to start with bubble gum. It's a light pink, but I want it on first because I want my other colors to show up, and I'm going to do more with this one than I will with my other colors. This one I'm going to stamp 3 times to start with so that I've made like a triangle. And then I'm going to lay it aside for right now. I'm going to our light blue that I'm using, and this is Pool Play, and I'm going to do it with the next size. And really you can stamp this any way you want. It's just totally up to whatever you want to do. Okay, so there's my Pool Play for right now. And then I'm going to go to Beach Breeze. And this will be a little bit darker, of course. So this one I like to just stamp off a little. And I'll stamp a little bit down here because some of this on the bottom will of course be covered up. Okay, so that takes care of my Beach Breeze. Now I want to go back to my lightest color, which is my bubble gum, and I'm going to fill in a few places for my bubble gum. And again, some of these towards the bottom will be covered up. Okay, so there's my bubble gum. Now I'm going to take my 2 smallest snowflakes that I have, and with one of them I'm going to do the candy apple. And again, because it is a darker color, I'm going rather light. So then I'm going to take my Catalina Splash and do my littlest snowflake. And again, it will show up a lot on my card. So there is that part done. So let me cover up all of my inks. And this one red ink here, I re-inked my candy apple stamp pad, so that's why that one came out so dark. Okay, so now I'm going to peel this up, pull my tape off, and now with my trimmer, my Journey paper trimmer, I'm going to trim this up a little bit, because I want my cardstock, this particular piece, to be 4 inches instead of 4 1/4, and I want the length of it to be 5 1/4. So I like to stamp and then do my final trim particularly when it's going to be an overlay on my card. So now at the bottom of my card, my paper piece can go in here. So I'm going to, on this one, I'm going to use a little bit of our Journey craft glue, because this gives me just a few seconds here to move it around if I need to. So put some glue on the bottom of it, set it on my card at the bottom. So that one now is on to stay. At the top now, I'm going to stamp my Merry Christmas, and I'm putting it in my black. So now there's my base, the very card front that I'm done with. So I can set it aside. Now on our card, you notice that we had done the tree and the snowflake. Well, just to save time, I've already cut them, I stamped them. The tree is stamped in the kiwi slice, and then I colored in all of its little lights. I used our Color Burst pencils for that. And on the the snowman, I did the same thing. I stamped him, I die cut him out because both of these have dies for them. And then again, I used our Color Burst pencils. Our Color Burst pencils I really, really liked, because you have a wide variety. On my blog, my website, which is also my blog, I will list all the colors that I've used, but this is the ones that I used out of our Color Burst pencils. Then, because I wanted to add just a little bit of detail, and I know it's too hard on here to see, but I used 2 of my Copic markers. I used this one here, R29, and what I did is I went around the outline of his hat, and then I used the YR18, and I put the little lines in with that on his nose for the carrot. So it gives it just a little bit of extra color. Now how I made these was I took 4 die cuts, and I'm going to do one of the snowmen for you because I've already completed a snowman in a tree because I needed them to dry. But what I did is I took a snowman and I put all over him our craft glue. And again, I used the glue rather than any other adhesive because I need to make sure that I have these perfectly lined up. And then I'm going to stack them. Okay, so here's my first one. So now more glue. And this is one of the nice things with these sets that you have, is that you can die cut them so that you don't have to glue them together and while they're still wet fussy cut them, because the die can be cut first and then you glue them together. Okay, so there are 3 of my pieces together. So now I'm going to put glue on the top of this one, and now the piece that the one I've colored and is ready to go will go on top of this. So now my snowman will fit right on top. So now I line him up, get him all nice and even and straight. And then while he's still wet, I can form him a little bit. So what I did is I put my fingers here at the bottom of the little snowman and I pushed him up on both sides. I did the same over here with the stars. I just sort of bent those up. And the same thing on this other side. And then once I had it pretty much the way I wanted it, I set it aside to let it dry. It doesn't take too long to dry, but you do want him to dry completely before you use him. So I've already completed one, and it's right here. It's ready to go on. And I did the same thing with the tree. I just put it together and I formed it with my fingers so that these two are now ready to go onto a card. But that's how you do this. The other thing that I was thinking about the other day after I had formed one of them is these would make cute little pins for little girls. All you'd have to do is on the back put a pin back on there. So I'm going to work on doing a couple of the pins using some of our different snowmen, and I'll do that in another video. So this one's drying, these two are ready to go. So here's my card front. Now, as you saw in the original, I put red ribbon on here, and I used our candy sparkle. What I did is I cut a piece so that I can wrap it behind, and then I used our double-sided tape, our white liner tape. And what I do when I do these is I pull off, and I do put both two strips on, because then my ribbon is completely covered. And then I simply take my ribbon and put it on my card. Turn it over to the back and tape its two ends on. So now I have my ribbon on. So now I can take my card base and put this on it. Now on this case, what I did was I pop dotted them up, this one up. So I used, this time, 4 whole medium foam squares so that I know it's going to hold. The other thing that I did is I put a foam square on each end of my ribbon. That way I know that, yep, my ribbon's going to stay, but my card is going to stay popped up also, and it's not going to sink in. So take my backings off on this. And press it down. So now there's the front of my card. So now I'm ready to put on my little tree and my little snowman. Now what I did with these is I took my Grand Pro scissors, but you could use the little detail ones as well. Both of these scissors are made so that nothing will stick to them. So that's why, one of the reasons why I like that when I do this particular thing. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut up halfway, in the middle, half of them, so that I have half pieces, because I want to put quite a few on both my tree and my snowman. So put them on, the halves on, take my backings off. And put my tree where I would like it on my card. And then do the same with my snowman. Now because I have the one side, this side here of my snowman, his arm going up more, I did not put a square dot there, a square foam, because it wouldn't hold it down. It would hold it down and not keep my bend, and I want my bend. So there's my card. Now, excuse me, I wanted to do something else with it. So what I have done is I have taken some of our Journey glaze, And I'm using the little ones, and you'll find the numbers to this on my blog. These are the little mini micro glue dot or glaze. You can also get it in the 2-ounce size, but these come 5 in a package, and I like them because for my hands, being that I'm older, they work better. Okay, I have better control of what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is on my snowman, I am putting it on his face and on the bottom of him, because now what I'm going to do is I am going to sprinkle on some sparkle dust just to make the snow sparkle. And then knock off my excess. I think on his face right there I've got a little too much, because I want to see his eyes. So I'll just take it off where his eye is, and then I'll be good. Okay, so there's the snowman. Now what I want to do is I want to make on the tree, I want to make my little balls, I guess you could call them lights or ornaments, either one. I'm going to put just a dot of the Journey glaze on each one of them. So it doesn't take much, and I'm barely touching my tip. I'm not squeezing my little tube hardly at all. So now my little balls on my ornaments on my tree will be sort of sparkly. So now what I want to do is I'm going to put just a little bit of the sparkle dust on them. Somebody has asked me where I got this little spoon at. Well, if you go to any of the ice cream places and they give you a little sample, a little taste, that's where this one came from. I don't remember which one though. I don't remember what ice cream store we were at, but all the ice cream stores have them, and they'll give you a sample so that you can taste it, and see if you like it. So when you get those, don't throw them away. Take them home and wash them out, because they are nice for this project. Okay, tap off the excess on that. And now that one's finished. So now what I have to do, of course, is I have to let it set to dry, because I need my glaze to dry completely. That way it will hold on my little sparkle things. The other thing I think I want to make sparkly is the little top part of his stocking cap. So put a little bit of sparkle glaze there, and take just a little bit here and put it on there. Okay, so now this one is completely finished. On the inside I can write my Christmas message to whoever I send it to. You could also go ahead and add a few snowflakes on the inside. So let's just add a few of the pool play on the inside. And again, where you add them is totally up to you. And let's do one of the Catalina splash in a couple places. Let's do the little one here and a little one up there. So there's the inside and there's the outside. If you have any questions, you can email me at Serif, S like in Sam, E-R-I-F, it is my last name backwards, 1 @ AOL.com. Have a great and blessed day.